Hi, 5th grade. This is Mrs. Cuffle, and I'm going to review with you to prepare you for the Chapter 1 and part of Chapter 2 math test. So right now I'm going over Chapter 1, Lesson 1, and in the actual book it's page 13. I'm using some of the independent practice to review with you. So the goal of this lesson is to understand place value. So this is my place value chart. I don't have the same one that you have. Every number has an imaginary decimal if there's nothing showing in the tenths place, hundredths, thousandths. There's always an imaginary decimal there. So our whole number is going this way. We have our ones next to the decimal on the left. Then we have our tens. Then we have our hundreds, and you can see the numbers written in. Then we have our thousands place, our 10,000th place, our 100,000th place, and then we have our millions. And what they want you to understand is that every 3 place values is called a period. So you've got your ones period, and that includes the ones right next to the decimal, the tens, and the hundreds. But the pattern keeps repeating. So for the next 3 place values, these are considered the thousands because right after this comma, the 4th place, starts a new set of 3, and this is the thousands period. So we've got our basically 1,000s, our 10,000s, and our 100,000s. So you can see the pattern keeps repeating. We go ones, tens, hundreds, that's the ones period. Then we're into our thousands, 1,000s, 10,000s, 100,000s. They just don't write the word ones there. They just call it thousands. After those 3, the thousands period, we have the next 3 place values, which are running off of my page, and this is the millions. So I wrote millions period here, and we put a comma to separate every 3 place values. So 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, and now we're into the millions. Ones period, thousands period, millions period. So we have our 1 millions, or we just say millions. Looks like that as a number, has 6 zeros. Then we have our 10 millions, my line's running through it, and then we have our 100 millions. And so that's the gist of this lesson, and then you'll be working on tenths, hundredths, thousands in another lesson. So today's just whole numbers. So on Chapter 1, Lesson 1, book page 13, I took a few examples from the page, and I'm starting with number 6 on page 13. On number 6, the directions are write the value of the highlighted digit. I didn't highlight, but I underlined the 9. So then I asked myself, what is that worth? What is the value of that 9? Because it happens to be sitting in that spot, that place value. So I would look at my place value chart, and I would say, there's always like an imaginary decimal sitting next to any whole number. We just don't write it because we know that that's a whole number. So right here is my ones, and then I have my tens, and then I have my hundreds. And if you need to see it, here's the decimal. We have ones, tens, hundreds. Then we have a comma because we're starting the thousands period. This is the first spot in the thousands. So that's called the 1,000s, or we just like to say thousands place. It's worth how much? 9 is in the thousands place, so it must be worth 9,000. So ones, tens, if I need to I could even label it ones, tens, hundreds, and then we're into the thousands, and it's worth 9,000 as a value. It has a value of 9,000 because it's sitting there. So I'd basically write my 9 and add enough zeros to fill the missing spots, the missing place values. Number 7. The directions for number 7 say write each number in word form and expanded form. First I need to know how to say this. I can see there's 2 commas, and I know that the first comma means that this is in the thousands, the 901, and I know that this is in the millions. And I kind of need to know that before I start speaking. Okay, I'm starting in the millions. I need to say this out loud. So I have 5 million, because that's what that comma represents, the millions period, 901,000, because that's what that comma represents, 452. I need to expand this number and then write it in word form. So 5,901,452 expanded. I'm going to start with my 5. I like to write 5 million and just put it all together. I need to put enough zeros to make sure that this 5 is in the millions place. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros after it, and that's what I have. So that's 5 million. This 9 is in the hundred thousands place. So I'm going to put a plus sign, and I'm going to write 9 with enough zeros. 1, 2, put a comma, 1, 2, 3, 3 more, to make sure that all the place values are filled, and this 9 is still equal to 900,000. So that's that. I have nothing in the 10,000s place, but I have a 1 in the thousands place. So I'm going to put a plus sign, and I'm going to write 1 and enough zeros to fill the other spots. I need 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So 1 has the value of 1,000, 1,000. And now I'm on to the 4. Plus, this is 400. It's in the hundreds place. I need 2 zeros after it to make it hold its place value or its value. So that's worth 400. 400. Then I put a plus sign, and 5 is in the tens place. So I'm going to write a 5 and figure out how many zeros. I only need 1. And then I'm going to put a plus sign, and last but not least, I have a 2. There's nothing after it, so I just write 2. So if I repeat this, it's 5 million plus 900,000 plus 1,000 plus 400 plus 50 plus 2 is the same as 5,901,452. Wow. Now I have to write that in word form. So the way I just said it out loud needs to be written in words. Here we go. And I'm sorry, it's hard to write and not like erase everything I've got here. Anyways, here we go. I need to write words. 5 million. If I don't know how to spell it, I would look at my place value chart. 5 million, put a comma because there's a comma there in the number. 900, sorry about the writing, 100, 1, because that's part of it. 901, I need to write the word 1. And that ends in the thousands, so I'm going to write the word 1,000 to represent that period, that comma. Put a comma there because there's a comma in the actual number. And now I have to write 452 in words. 452. 50-2, because that's how they write it in math, with a dash. So that's the number, 5,901,452. That's it. So we did it both expanded, stretching it out with plus signs, and in word form, writing it just like you say it out loud. And you can always look back at your place value chart to figure out how to say it. And the other thing is that each section of numbers, each period is read just like like you'd normally look at it in the ones. But you have to say the name of the place value after it. So you say millions, you say thousands. Okay, number 9, 83,023,007. They ask us on number 9 to write each number in standard form and expanded form. I didn't leave enough room for that, but let's fill in the blanks. As a student, if I were taking a test, I would write enough blanks for myself to fill in the numbers, because they wrote it in word form and I need to write out the numbers. So 83,023,007. I would say I've got my ones, my tens, my hundreds, then my comma. Now that was the ones period, I've got thousands, 1,000s, 10,000s, 100,000s. Put my comma, now I'm into the millions period. Ones, tens, hundreds, in the millions. Here we go. 83 million. I need to fill in the spots on my little chart here to make this true. 83 million. If I put it here, that would be 830 million, so I don't need anything here. I need the 83 to land right here so that it says 83, and when I see the comma, I'd say million. Okay, that's done. 23,000. If I put the 2 here, it would be 230,000, and I don't want that. I want the 2 to land here in the tens place, and the 3 to land in the ones place, so it's 23,000. Anytime I have a blank space though, hopefully you realize you need to fill it in with a 0 to hold that place value. Otherwise the number will not equal what you're writing or saying out loud. Okay, moving on. The last thing I have in my number after 23,000 is 7. Nothing in the hundreds, nothing in the tens, just flat out 7. So I put it in my ones place. There's nothing here, so I need to fill it in or annex zeros just to keep the number true and keep those place values held in their spot. Okay, let's see. Does it say 83,023,007? Let's check. 83 million, that's that comma, 23, say it like a normal number, 1,000 for that comma, 23,000, got that? 7. Looks good to me. So hopefully you realize if you can say it, you fill in the blanks, and any missing place values, you annex 0. And I put a dot at the end just to show you that there's like an invisible decimal at all times. There happens to be nothing after this, so those zeros in the tens, tenths, and hundredths place mean nothing. So I'll just erase that. Moving on. Number 12. I actually need to move this up a little. And I stuck it to my counter. Here we go. Number 12. Now this is like number 12, but not exactly, because I wanted to use what I already had written on my paper. But this is what the concept is. So use the number that we just wrote here, 83,023,007, to answer the question. The 3, oh boy, there's more than one, in the number above is in the blank place. Let's use this one. So if someone asked you, the 3 in this number is in the blank place, you would, if you had a label array, that's easy. Otherwise you'd go across and you'd figure it out. Ones, tens, hundreds, now I'm in the thousands. Ones, tens, hundreds, now I'm in the millions. 3 is in the millions place. It's in the 1 millions place, but they just leave off the word 1 and write, it's in the millions place. So that's that. Not the 10 millions, not the 100,000 millions. I mean 100 millions, just millions. Now what if it were the 8 they were looking at? The 8 has a value of, if you're looking at this 8, it has a value of 8 times something. What would you have to multiply 8 by to get it to end up in this place value? Basically it's a 1 with how many zeros? 8 times 1 is always 8. And what is it going to take to get it into this spot? I wrote my 1 to represent that spot. How many zeros have to be after it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to write those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm going to put in my commas so I can see each place, each period. Ones, tens, hundreds, I need a comma. Ones, tens, hundreds, I need a comma. Is 1 matching that place value? Is it 2 away from the comma? 1, 2, 1, 2, yes. I know that 8 times 1 is still 8, so 8 has the value of 8 times 10 million. because that's 10 million. It's in the 10 millions place. 1 times 8 is 8. It'd be worth 80 million when you put that all together. 80, comma, 0, 0, 0, comma, I'm running out of room, 0, 0, 0, 80 million. But basically they want you to be able to fill in the blank with a 1 and however many zeros it takes to get that to land in that space when you multiply them together. That's the end of that lesson. Hope it helps you. Thank you.